You are now tuned in to the Believe Network. Do you believe?
Welcome to the Believe Podcast Network, SoCal Sweat. My name is McDaniels, a former NFL cheerleader and product manager turned actress and model who dreams of being a UFC fighter. Meow. Learning strategies to help motivate others leads me to bring you interviews each week from a range of athletes, experts in fitness and nutrition, and so much more. Thanks for listening to Believe, the #1 podcast for working professionals, and let's push our endorphins to higher performance through SoCal Sweat. This is your host, Ann McDaniels, and thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Believe SoCal Sweat. Please excuse my voice. I'm recording this the morning of the Super Bowl. So, it's been all weekend, and I have to leave for Palm Springs for a shoot this week. So, with the Super Bowl, I have to record this early in the morning, and I have no voice. So, thank you so much for joining me, and I want to talk about the 12 ways we can be mentally stronger, because I feel like we've gone through so many tough times, and people have gone through the ringer in the last 2 years. I know I myself have with the accident of breaking my leg and my arm, and then the pandemic, of course. But how can we get through these times? We can get mentally stronger, mentally tougher. And I want to highlight 12 ways that we can do this just to help you conquer situations, learn how to deal with setbacks, and push forward because we all sometimes just want to quit and throw in the towel. But you know you're talented. You know you've got the gifts and the traits and the people that love you. And if you don't have a good family, surround yourself with wonderful friends, coworkers, mentors. Everybody can get through these things. Sometimes it's harder for others, but if we can develop mental toughness, mental strength, it'll make for a whole easier way of life. So in this episode, I've gathered a lot of information from Huffington Post, Business Insider, Brainy Dose, Top Think, and several others that will be mentioned in the podcast notes. So let's get right into it. The 12 surprising signs of mentally strong people. Pay attention to the traits and see if you identify with any of them. Number 1, they can't be taken advantage of. Living in a society means interacting with and helping others, and you find it important to show sympathy and help people in need. However, you know when someone is trying to use you, and you can tell when a relationship is getting too emotionally exhausting for you, and you handle things accordingly. You refuse to be naive and don't let other people step all over you. Number 2, you know how to say no. Sometimes you just have to say no, and this is hard sometimes. Mentally strong people are direct but pleasant and avoid phrases like, well, I don't think, well, I can, or I'm not sure, and they make excuses. Making choices that might upset others takes courage, but living in an authentic life requires bravery. That's number 2. Number 3 is you ask and give constructive criticism. While you may seem firm and on track with your life, you realize that you have a lot of areas that you can work and improve on. You appreciate when people give you feedback and tips and not get offended by it. In the same way, you see another colleague or friend needs to work on something they need to work on and converse with, and you give them constructive criticism so that they can improve just like you. You don't get jealous. Number 4, you say exactly what you mean. Mentally tough people know that the words they choose to say reflect back on them. So they say exactly what they mean. Putting real meaning behind your words is a powerful tool for achieving happiness. You seldom encounter problems where you find yourself tangled up in things that you might have misconstrued, and because you're constantly aware of what you're saying. Number 5, you are constantly adapting to your environments. Mentally tough people are flexible in all of life situations. You understand that having a fear of change is detrimental to success and happiness. And keeping an open mind allows you to see opportunities where others see failures. It is tough to change, but you have to. Number 6, you find solutions to your problems. Instead of complaining about something that went wrong, you try to figure out why it went wrong. This is how we move forward, and mentally strong people are all about progressive movement. You refuse to give your energy towards anything unproductive, and you thoroughly enjoy a good challenge. Number 7, and this is very tough for a lot of people, you know that it's okay to be wrong. Some people always have to be right, and hell will freeze over before they utter the words, I made a mistake, or I'm sorry. Mentally tough people, on the other hand, have no problem admitting when they are wrong. This takes strength. Apologizing for something isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of great strength. Number 8, you can focus on the brighter side of life if you are mentally strong. Things don't always go the way that they're supposed to, but you don't let it get to you. Instead, you try to find the positive side of every situation and keep yourself up and with people around you that will motivate you. Similarly, if the situation at hand is something you cannot control and you cannot stop worrying about it, then try to focus on what can be made better and work on that. Resolve the problems. Number 9 is mentally strong people enjoy solitude. In a world with 24/7 social media, you sometimes just feel like taking time off. I never go on it. Spending time alone doesn't mean that you're boring. You just simply want to spend more time improving yourself, maybe reading a book or doing an activity you enjoy. And this alone time is important for you to rewire and reflect on things happening in your life. I know that I have to do that all the time. I have to take a step back and just be by myself to kind of decompress and refresh myself. And a lot of people are worried that if they're staying too much by themselves, and if you're a recluse and you don't socialize, that's another thing, but it builds character. When we're by ourselves and we're okay to be by ourselves, like I've gone to a movie by myself. I think it's fun, and sometimes I just want to relax and not talk and just enjoy the movie. So there's nothing wrong with that, and mentally strong people spend a lot of time by themselves. Number 10, mentally strong people are in charge of their emotions. They don't get out of hand, and we encounter all sorts of different personalities throughout our daily lives, and mentally strong people are able to know this and realize it. They can accept both toxic and inspirational people into their lives and not let them rule their emotions. They also set healthy boundaries and take responsibility for how they think, feel, and behave, and this keeps the ball in their court. Number 11, mentally strong people do not care about what others think. They know what they want, and they are not people pleasers. They also won't go out of their way to just prove themselves to someone, and this takes a lot. And while they may treat people around them with respect and fairness, they are not afraid to speak up and speak their minds. And they are completely okay with someone else going against their point of view, but they simply don't allow the other person to dictate their actions. And finally, number 12, mentally strong people are actually patient with achieving their results. They're not going for a quick fix. They know it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be some cryptocurrency that's going to make them millions of dollars. They have to be patient, wait, and put the work in. And this is hard for our generation. Success just doesn't come in a day or two, and mentally strong people understand that sometimes setbacks occur. And whether it's a financial loss or personal health problem, having mental strength will help with the situation. And you push through the hardships and patiently wait with positive results. They take tiny actions continuously and focus on progress. Mentally strong people are independent, and they understand themselves better than anyone. But the most important sign of someone who is mentally strong is that they have the ability to love and accept themselves above all. They almost have sort of a cocky or cavalier attitude, but it really takes that kind of mental strength to succeed and get through tough times. I know that I have to work on the people-pleasing thing and a couple others, and loving and accepting myself. Those are the ones that I am definitely need to work on for sure. But as far as being able to be by myself and things like that, I'm definitely good at that. What do you guys have to work on? What are some things that will maybe you can incorporate into your own life to make you more mentally strong to get through tough situations? Because you're all super gifted and talented, and you should never allow anything to get you down, even though it's very difficult in this world of just super fast social media, quick fixes, and it looks like everybody around you is getting rich quick or they have the most glamorous lives. But I'm telling you, it's just not the case. I've seen people in the flesh that have these Instagram accounts, and for what they're doing, what they look like, and everything else, it is completely false. So please don't ever let things get you down, especially on social media, which can set many people into depression when they're comparing themselves to others constantly. But I sincerely hope these 12 tips gave you some kind of ability to look inside yourself and realize what you need to improve on and what you're doing really well as far as mental toughness and mental strength to get through the tough times. Because life just throws us curveballs, and it's how we deal with the punches and how we come back fighting with a fighting spirit, and that is how mentally strong we can be. So I want to end on one of my favorite quotes, and that is from the Rocky franchise. And Sylvester Stallone, Rocky Balboa, says, "It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward." So I leave you with that. And I hope you have a wonderful week, and thank you again so much for joining me on another episode of Believe, SoCal Sweat. Be mentally strong, guys. Be mentally tough. We appreciate you for listening, and please rate and subscribe to the show on iTunes. You can also listen on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Luminary Tuned In, or at Believe.com. You can always reach out to me for any questions or topics you'd like covered on the show at Ann McDaniels or at Ann McDaniels Actress. And I will see you next time on SoCal Sweat.
Thank you for listening to the Believe Network.